Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Jessa Jeremiah.
I'm Justin Riley, and we're here at Rock and Roll Winery in a new space in their barn. I guess the space isn't so much new, but they're putting up some new walls to kind of close in this space a little bit more and make it a separate place.
Making more spaces really for you to come enjoy the wonderful wines here at Rock and Roll. If you're a fan of supporting local, I don't think it gets more local.
It doesn't get more local
than this winery. It's all based here in Wisconsin, grown here in Wisconsin. I mean, this is Wisconsin wines. There's just hands down, period. It's exciting, and they're delicious.
And
also.
they're great wines.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we'll learn more about that. This lovely family-owned business. We're talking to Sean, the owner, a little bit later.
We are. We're also going to catch up with Dustin and Nicole Parrish from Iron Grip Gym. They're going to talk physical fitness with us. We always enjoy having them.
It's a lifestyle. It's got to be part of your everyday. So I'm glad to incorporate it in our show today. So we'll chat with them. Wonderful folks. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about a fabulous family activity, coin collecting.
Who would have thought that coin collecting would be a family activity, but it really is a great way to get your kids interested in history. Because they're literally historical artifacts that are available for you to look at.
It's impossible to talk about coins or any other artifacts, like you said, without learning something. So we're going to learn something from Jim Essence from Jim's Coins coming up after the break here on Wisconsin Family.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We have been having a lovely time here in Poynette, Wisconsin at Rock and Roll Winery. Having a good time.
I'm having a great time.
Good. And now we're having an even better time because we've been joined by Jim Essence, who joins us from Jim's Coins, and we're so glad to have you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we always learn something from you, Jim. We're going to talk a little bit about the ways that you and your family can get involved in coin collecting, but we're going to talk a little bit about the financial aspect of gold and silver as well. So obviously there's some value here, and there's been a lot in the media recently about gold and silver shifting, going up and going down. How do you know what direction it's going to go? Is that something you can tell us for sure, that gold and silver is moving in a certain direction, or how does that work?
I bet you might be thinking that I would not know the answer to that, but I've been doing a lot of research and studying it carefully, certain trends and so forth, and we're actually almost 100% confident that gold and silver will go up or down. So we do know. We do know the direction, pretty sure.
All right, you had me going. I thought you really were going to give us something there. That's great.
Well, good. You can say that with confidence.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Not just coins, also comedy from Jim. Yeah.
So, obviously, this is something that people, have an interest in investing in. I mean, there's maybe some risk there because we know it's either going to go up or down. We obviously want it to go up if we invest. But what are some of the ways that people can invest in gold and silver?
Well, that's a great question. One of the ways is ETFs, that's electronically traded funds.
Okay.
And that would be something, you buy a stock, it's actually listed on the stock market. You buy a piece of paper that says you own so many ounces of gold or silver that's in a vault somewhere.
Yeah.
And so that's a very economical way to buy and sell it because the transaction costs are very low because it's just like trading a stock.
Right.
So that's one option. A lot of people think, if push came to shove in the future, things went south, heaven forbid, they want something physical that they have in their possession, not a piece of paper that could, they open the vaults and there's just a security guard having his lunch or something.
Right, yeah.
So
You paint a lovely picture, Jim.
So they want the physical gold and silver in their possession.
Right.
People do, and that's where we come in. We buy and sell the physical
Right.
Gold and silver.
I
So
am.
there's a number of different ways to do it. Starting with silver, people like the generic rounds made by refining companies and miners is the least expensive way to do it. And it comes in a lot of different designs. It's privately made.
Sure.
That's the least expensive. If you spend maybe $1 or $2 more per ounce, you can get the American Eagle.
Okay.
It's really beautiful coin.
It
It's a
is
$1
beautiful.
coin. It's
Okay.
1 ounce of pure silver made by the U.S. Mint.
Gorgeous.
Wow. So some of these legal tender, some of them not so much then? Is that kind of how that works?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
People feel a little bit more secure if it's made by a government that it's legal tender. Maybe a less soft target for counterfeiters.
Sure.
This is the Canadian maple leaf. Justin, you were admiring this, a
That is
new
so
product
cool.
from the Canadian Mint, Superman silver round. Here's a 10-ounce bar. Just kind of holding it
Oh
is
my
kind
gosh.
of fun, pride of ownership.
That's what 10 ounces feels like.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then here's the 100-ounce.
Can I lift it?
Yeah,
May I?
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my
So
gosh,
that's
I
a
may
100
not be
ounce.
able to lift it. Barely. That's very heavy.
Yes, yes.
Try it
So
out.
Try it. Wow.
Use it as a doorstop or
Justin's gonna be doing curls here.
Yeah. Sweating in a minute here.
yes. So and then with the gold, there's the American Gold Eagle. Again, gold bars. You have private and public. Right now, we're recommending the minted gold items because they're made by a government and they're not very much more expensive.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
And I have to ask about this teeny tiny cutie Woody. What is this thing?
That's a 10th-ounce gold eagle.
1/10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
It caught my
made by the
attention
US
before we
government.
started because I've never seen a coin this little.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cute. I don't think their value is based on their cute level, but
But
Well,
in your mind, they are.
maybe-
That's important
yeah,
to you.
that's
So.
But let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about, speaking of value, and for viewers at home, is now a good time to buy or sell? What do you think?
Well, there's, in the long term, I think gold and silver are good investments, but I think in the near term, it's good to look at your own personal economy, so to speak. There's the pride of ownership of the items. That's something to think about. It's also something to think about what is the opportunity cost of keeping it. For example, can I pay off some high credit card, high interest rate credit cards, or help somebody who needs it? In that case, I would say sell or use the money for that if you have some family emergency or something.
Yeah.
But if not, if you're looking for long-term investment and pride of ownership, those are two things definitely to think about.
I love that you think of that too, that it's so individual based on the person. So not just advice on the coins or the value, but it's really personal to your situation. So
Right,
some
that's
life
something to-
lessons also.
Right,
Jim.
definitely something to think about when buying or
Well,
selling.
thank you so much. We're already out of time. It goes so quick with you, but thank you for sharing this. Get your family involved in coin collecting. You can see Jim at Jim's Coins in Hilldale, and we'll be right back with more Wisconsin Family.
Yeah.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are filming here at Rubens Furniture. We are downtown and we are comfy as can be. What do you think?
Yep, agreed.
Now we're joined by two lovely guests. We're talking fitness and we're talking with the folks from Iron Grip Gym. And you may recognize Nicole, and we're glad to have you back. How
Good
are
to
you
be back.
doing?
Good.
Glad to see you. And you have a guest today. This is
Yes.
Colleen. Colleen, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. So kind of give us the introduction, if you would, to Colleen.
So Colleen came to us as a member, and throughout her time with us has now become a trainer.
Wonderful. Isn't that funny how it starts? You kind of come in as a client and you get passionate about what you're doing and you want to work there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like that's a great plan.
So, Colleen, from what I understand, that you had back surgery recently. Tell us a little bit about maybe not recently, but you've had back surgery, and
Yep.
tell us a little bit about that procedure.
Sure. A few years ago, I slipped on some ice because we're in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and I blew out a couple of discs. So I had to go in for what's called a discectomy. They go in and scrape everything out and then sew you back up, and there's a decent recovery for that, but I've been able to obviously get back into the fitness and working out through that. So
much so that you're actually training people.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
wow,
Right.
that's discectomy. That sounds very pleasant.
Yeah, the description.
Yeah.
It paints a pretty picture. Well, let's talk specifically about that process. So now your recovery process included functional training. And what was it about the training, functional fitness, I guess I should say, that really made the recovery process possible, faster, better?
Functional fitness is actually sort of perfect for injury recovery because it's non-impact, so you're not jarring anything that's injured. It's scalable, so you can build onto it as you recover. You're not going to hit a point and have to stop.
Okay.
And it also really focuses on support or building the support muscles instead of just the big major muscles. You're working on all the little muscles that actually help support your joints and your spine and things like that. So you're not putting as much load on those then in the future.
Isn't that smart? That's just smart for anybody, whether you've had surgery or not, because those joints can get so worn over time, especially with age. So.
And Nicole, I want to talk to you for just a second here because Dustin, who obviously is not here today, also had a significant injury. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how he recovered and everything?
Yeah, his was also kind of a freak thing. He slipped and he tore his talofibular ligament on the outside, complete tear of his ankle. And actually, with his brace on and all the PT he was doing, he was back. I mean, he was back in the gym the following week because that's how he is, cleared by the staff. But
Hopping on one leg, probably.
right. But he was doing the jumping and everything within half of the time as your normal recovery, just because of all of the stabilizing that we do, all the balance that we do, everything around those tendons and ligaments was really strong. So he has no effects from it today.
It's kind of it's something that a lot of us don't think of. Those smaller muscle groups are really the stabilizing muscles that really help us to not only prevent injury but recover faster from injury as well. They always say that if you're running downhill, you're actually building more muscle by running downhill because you're using more stabilizing muscles.
Yep. Yep.
I always knew I wasn't just lazy. Well, let's talk a little bit too. I'm curious if you would kind of expand a little bit on what the process is. So, obviously we're hearing these great recovery stories and there's the why behind it is the smaller muscle groups. Yep. What kinds of things are you doing? What are the exercises?
So a lot of, especially with his ankle injury, it's a lot of balancing like on a towel. You would just kind of like do a calf raise almost on a towel to start strengthening that. And then we have balance disc is one thing that we try to strengthen ankles on. And he would do his normal PT, the ABCs with your ankle, that stuff. And obviously icing and all the other protocol, but it's really the stabilizing and balancing exercises that we do consistently.
It almost sounds like little isolated little movements where you almost may not look like you're doing a big workout.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing nothing.
It's probably hard, yeah.
Yep, it's really good for the recovery.
So if somebody is interested in getting started with classes at Iron Grip Gym, what's the process? What's the first thing they can do?
First thing, they can either call or email Nicole at irongripgymaos.com, or they can look at our website. You can find us on Groupon. We have a couple of deals there. And soon we'll be using the MindBody app, so we'll have that access as well, which is a good way for people to book their classes and see what we have.
You take the excuse out, If people say they don't have time or they're too busy to get started, give them an app and now
yep, it's right in front of you.
Excuse, you can download the app.
Yep, so we'll be starting that soon.
Oh, that's wonderful. Cool. You guys have been great. And what a wonderful thing for folks to know at home that there's some additional things that you can do if you're suffering from an injury or maybe even just have some weak joints, that there's really a very specified group of training exercises that can help, and some folks that obviously not only have knowledge in the industry but have personal experience to walk you through it. Yep. And Colleen, if they want to get started training with you, come into Iron Grip Gym, how does that work?
Yeah, we have a set schedule, so I teach classes on Sundays if anybody wants to come in, and we're going to be expanding our schedule a little bit, so
very exciting.
Check it out.
Well, so nice to meet you. Thanks
nice
for
to
sharing your story.
Yep.
And of course, Nicole, thank you so much for, sharing Dustin's story.
Right.
Hi, Dustin.
Yep.
We
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
it. So nice to see you both. Iron Grip Gym. We're talking fitness. We're here at Rubens Furniture. We've got a great rest of the show coming up after this, so stick with us. Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. As promised, we are going to talk to the folks here at Rock and Roll Winery. Dave and Sean, thank you so much for having us here. We really love coming.
You're welcome.
This is an incredible place.
Thank you.
So, family-owned business. We've been talking about the wonderful wines here. Wisconsin wines at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And truly Wisconsin wines, all the way down to literally the grapes growing right here in Wisconsin. And we're going to talk a little bit about that process today. So let's talk about what the harvest consists of. Give us a little bit of information. This is great out here in the vinery here.
Well, we pick the grapes and put them in containers, and then we take them down to the production area. We crush and just stem them, and then if they're whites, we press, and if they're reds, they go into the fermentation tanks for 7 to 14 days until they meet Sean's
strict expectations. I have a feeling.
Very strict.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's fun about doing this right now is we get to hear a little bit about what you do and about the winery, but we kind of really get to see it firsthand now out here. And I mean, this is real. We're in the vines. You can see the grapes growing. It's incredible.
And it looks like they're about ready, to be picked. But I, not knowing anything about this process, I don't know. When do you know that it's time to harvest?
Well, obviously they've changed color. We have veraison, and then what we do is we follow the sugar content, which is Brix.
Okay.
So we'll take a random sampling where we try to really get all the grapes that represent the different vines we have out here. And then we'll take the juice and we check them for Brix content. And that's the sugar.
Okay.
How much sugar there is per the juice ratio.
right off the
or
vine.
my father
can't
could just
even
eat
wait.
them.
He needed a snack.
Scientific way to
Right.
figure
You
that out.
test that in the pH. pH also gives you kind of the acid levels.
Sure, yeah.
And the balance. It kind of lets you know, is that grape ready? Because it has to have sugar, the acid has to drop, but it also has to just be perfect where the flavors, right? The varietal, the terroir, the flavors are there.
Wow. So what are you looking for, or I guess what kinds of problems can you possibly encounter in this process? I'm sure that happens, so you got to be careful about your selections.
Birds come and then they bite the grape, and then we get the wasps, and then you can get sour rot, which you can't process them if they have the sour rot because it makes the wine taste bad. So we have squelchers and kites that fly to keep the birds out. We have chosen not to net yet,
Okay.
but if we can control the birds, then our crop is usually pretty good.
Wow, that's great. So you kind of control the environment a little bit as much as you can.
Well, you can't control rain though. And
Right.
as I think everybody knows, this summer started warm, it's been cool, a lot of humidity, a lot of rain. That makes it tough on the grapes too, because if they don't get a lot of the sunlight and the heat, it's hard for them to ripen. If they get too much water in them, they can burst, and that's when the skin will split, and that's how they can get sour rot. And then the birds go crazy, and everything goes crazy, and we have a problem.
I find the whole process really fascinating and just incredible that you can actually do this here in Wisconsin. You can grow your own grapes here in Wisconsin for wine. I mean, that's just something that I didn't dream that was possible.
Right,
That you
right.
can do that here. You don't think of it as a Wisconsin.
These are considered cold climate grapes. The University of Minnesota developed them. Most of ours are all developed from Minnesota, and they can take the cold better than
These are some hardy
California.
grapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
Very good.
So we're starting harvest season, obviously. How much time? What's your window for how much time it takes? How much time do you have to get the grapes off the vine before that pH and sugar level that you
Right.
talk about is off balance?
Well, I would say the window's about 3 weeks from the first varietals and that means type, that show themselves to be ripe and ready, to the last ones. Like right now, we're standing with Frontenac behind us. Frontenac is the very last grape we usually pick.
Okay.
Because it has the highest acid levels, so we need those to drop
Sure.
to really get it. But I would say once that grape is perfect, if you could pick it that day, fantastic. You have about a week, I'd say, to get it. Expediency is everything. Because once we pick them, you have to process them. It's not like you get to keep them for a couple days. It all has to happen.
As soon as they come off the vine.
As soon as it come off the vine.
Wow.
Okay.
Fresh is king.
Yeah.
Always.
This
Absolutely.
is such an incredible process and an incredible product. And this is really an incredible company, too, a family-owned business. Dave said he can't get fired because he's dad, but we were laughing about that.
I work for wine.
That's right. We'll work for wine. He's got a sign. No, but that's wonderful. But also, you're involved in the community. Now, talk to us a little bit about how the community gets involved in this process.
Sure. Well, first off, the community's been amazing, supportive for us. So we have a lot of regular, and we like to call them guests, come to our winery. And on Facebook or in multimedia, social media, we'll put things out, hey, it's time to pick. So all of a sudden, we get all these floods of people, we want to pick, I want to pick, I want to pick. So like next Saturday when we're doing our picking, and we're going to have a whole lot of people just come in here, help pick for a couple hours, and it really helps. I mean, we get a lot done.
Sure.
And then we have a giant party in our big field out there with bonfire. I cook food all day. We crack wine. People can camp and tent out there. And it's a way to say thank you for helping us. And it's really nice community. It feels good.
Absolutely. And what an incredible process to be a part of. I would just love the experience of doing that.
And I just have to ask, are you stomping the grapes? Do you give people the opportunity to stomp the grapes?
Oh, no. No one's
Don't worry,
my
Vince.
grapes. Does not happen.
That's a good question. The community's feet are not in your
No,
winery.
no.
But
That's good to know.
Love people, just not their feet.
Just not their feet.
there's
Okay.
boundaries. Okay.
That's good to know. So obviously, harvest time. What can we expect from this year's harvest? What are you expecting from this year's harvest?
We're with the Frontenac. We're expecting a record crop.
Oh wow!
We did get froze. Got down 24 degrees here. Our Marquette, we're probably going to be down to a 40 to a 50% crop. But the buds were on the Frontenac. We're at such a stage that with the cold, they really didn't get burnt. So they made it through, and then we have a pretty good spray program. We foliar fertilize, and as soon as that happens, we feed the vine so they can come back. And the Frontenac, all of our Frontenacs came back. Our Frontenac Gris, our Frontenac, and our Frontenac Blanc are all doing excellent.
Wow.
Is there anything you can do to prevent that? I mean, do you come out here with big sheets and, if you know there's going to be a frost or anything
Well,
like that?
at 24 degrees, there's nothing you're going to do. Because
Okay.
that's a freeze.
Yeah, that's more than a
and
frost.
My father's being really modest. I mean, if you really look at our vines, I challenge you to find any vineyard that has vines that look this good. My father's meticulous, and the health of the vine does help. We have a lot of secondary growth. You can see the green, and it's because he's been so fantastic keeping these vines healthy. And, he's very preemptive. So that's really about the best you can do.
Yeah.
Especially at that low temp. So
Yeah.
it's him. Having him here is what I can do if I've got, frost coming. So.
There you go. See, you're more useful than just
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You're wonderful. Well, you guys are great. Thank you so much, Dave and Sean from Rock and Roll Winery.
Thank you.
If you haven't been here yet, please come. A beautiful drive, just a hop, skip, and a jump if you're in Madison. Incredible wine. So thank you so very much, guys, for having
Thank
us.
you.
It's really nice having you here.
Thanks to all of our guests, and thank you for watching. Please join us next time on Wisconsin Family.
Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world